Hey guys, this is Jacqueline with Telestiq.journey. Thank you so much for joining me. This evening, I know I haven't been really consistent about a schedule making readings and spreads for everybody. I have a lot of things planned for the channel, but I've really just been kind of organizing stuff at this point since it's so new to me. Kind of figuring out how I want to go forward, the types of tarot spreads I want to do on a regular basis, working out my schedule to get all of those things done. And gosh, if anyone else has been like me here at the start of the year, it has just been so busy. So just a lot of things going on, and that's actually really good because I feel like I've still been getting a lot of things done. But oh my gosh, it's been really busy. So I guess time management is just going to be very important going forward. However, this spread, again, kind of um, just something off the cuff that I was doing. I'd started doing a reading for myself and my own divine masculine, but as I was drawing the cards, I really felt that it was going to apply to more than just myself. So if you, of course, if you listen and it resonates, that's great. Obviously, we are kind of along the same path and at a similar vibration. But if not, that's just fine. Maybe a future reading will resonate a little differently because I do plan on doing various types of spreads in the future. So please keep a lookout for that. But this, again, this spread, like the one that I did last weekend, is going to be strictly for the divine masculine and the energies and the experience of his journey right now as a divine masculine, and also kind of what he's bringing in, how those things are affecting the overall relationship with his divine feminine. And to start, we have got the Two of Wands. Oh, and here I'll explain what I do really quick, because typically whenever I draw cards, I've already shuffled and laid out the deck and laid out the cards and everything, but typically I lay down a single card for each position in the Celtic cross spread, and then I always feel like I get more information if I go through and I do a second round. So I kind of do a clarifying card, but typically I know a lot of readers will pull clarifying cards and they will get take that energy and assume that it's energy from, say, a past energy that brings you into the current position or into the now, and how the past energy has played into where you are at this point, what has brought you to this point. And I do get that sometimes, but for me, when I lay these quote unquote clarifiers out, it tends actually to be more qualifying energies or additional explanation to the energies that are present already in that position. So that's really how I tend to do my readings. And so for the first position, this is the central issue for the divine masculine. We have the Two of Wands and also the Six of Wands. And now last week, the divine masculine did have some of these same energies that have come out today. Actually today it was very interesting. I have never gotten some of the energies out of these cards like I'm seeing them today. So bear with me and hang in there for these messages. But this Two of Wands, like last week, the divine masculine is really realizing what he needs to do at this point. He's evaluating all of his options and how he can move forward in this relationship with his divine feminine. And it's not whether or not he's going to, that is already determined. He's already made his decision essentially, but it's more, if you go back and watch the reading from last week, it's more that he's trying to figure out exactly what he wants to do in order to take those steps in carrying the relationship forward. So he is on the right track here, and he's feeling very kind of lighthearted and joyous and very positive about this, and he is not feeling in that same mental, depressed, worried state that he has been in for quite a while, for several weeks, and especially throughout December. But this, so this is his centralized, the central energy of the issue. So this is really his state of being right now. And, so it is very much positive if we look at the challenge, this card, this revelation, this knowing, and this understanding of what he needs to do now is coming up in a challenge position for this week, because it was in his mental space, this new epiphany from last week, and now it's in the challenge space. So he is trying to find ways of applying his energies into taking action toward this relationship, and really moving it up to the next level. Because for me, this Six of Wands is actually, it is a point of victory. It is a point of happiness and feeling like you're just kind of on top of the world and you're in a really good space, and like nothing can get you down, and that those sorts of good, fuzzy feelings. And that, like, you have support from your partner, that sort of thing. But this is also knowing that you've reached the point of a phase, like you're kind of at a midpoint. You're at a place where you can stand and look back and appreciate the journey thus far. But but he's also realizing that he hasn't gotten to the highest point yet. So he hasn't quite achieved all of what he wants to achieve yet. But he is in a good place. But he's taken the time to acknowledge that what he has built with his divine feminine up to now. But he does know, and he's feeling good about it, but he does want to do more. So he's been trying to apply this, like we talked last week about. There has been some worry, in the past, over the past few weeks, about how all of this is going to play out, how it's going to take place for him. And even though he's kind of letting that go, he hasn't been able to really move things forward yet. It's still, and again, last week also, there was this energy, this kind of underlying energy of wanting to take those steps, wanting to take that action, but not quite being able to take that next step yet, and not being able to put himself out there just yet. And from my own journey right now, I do believe my masculine may be on a very long and much needed vacation. And if that is the case, then, he is right now at a point where he's not even in town. And maybe, maybe he is just caught up with trying to center himself and, continue to evaluate everything as he's preparing himself that when he returns, maybe he can take those steps. So there's just some short, small delay here. I don't feel like this, this is nothing huge. I don't feel like it's, we don't have any tower moments. We don't have any, hanged man or hermit. We don't have anything like that this week. Actually, the energy is very light this week. And it's very much more positive than it has been. So even though last week, obviously, we started to see that turnaround. But, so this is a short delay, but actually this is on the precipice. This challenging point is on a precipice of flipping this around, so that he can get this new start with his divine feminine. Because even though this Ace of Wands is in the reverse in the challenge position, with the worry that is being turned around, that doesn't mean it's not there. The energy still exists. He just has to figure how to turn it around. Um, but he is realizing what's missing in his life. He has this 10 of cups in reverse, but he is also in his action space, in his um he is going to be this Knight of Wands, which is very fast paced. He is still feeling that very quickly moving energy forward, that desire, that passion, that need to act, the amorous nature of the Knight of Wands, and applying that to bringing this Ten of Cups back to what it was. I feel like he realizes what has kind of fallen away from the relationship, that it's missing something that it used to have there. And, for any of those who have met your divine masculine, and, maybe there's a distance or a separation between you right now, and he's feeling that lack, that loss, and he's wanting to fill these cups again, not just for himself, but for his divine feminine. And so he's kind of going on, I see this as a sojourn. He sees himself as embarking on a new sojourn in order to apply that passion and his efforts to this new start. Now, what I do feel in his mental space right now is that, and it kind of goes along with another message here, is that the divine masculine, the first card that had come out in the mental space was the Three of Swords. And the Three of Swords, I was not getting, this is where the messages kind of get a little wonky because I feel like I've never quite gotten these types of messages from these cards before that I was intuitively getting from this spread. So, from what had fallen out today. So I'm really glad that I did go ahead and pull a second round of, qualifying cards, because I feel like that really helped bring more clarity to what I was already feeling, so that I could share that with you guys. But what I feel, okay, so this Three of Swords, now he's not hurting here anymore. I feel like he's coming to a point where, he's at a point of acceptance of completing certain phases. And what, though, he's focused on here in the mental space is the hurt that he has caused his divine feminine. Because the clarifier was the Lovers. And I was almost expecting something like a Queen of Wands to come out, or one of the other, maybe the Priestess, or, something indicative of the divine feminine. But, this is the Lovers. And so that's close enough for me. But it's also indicative that he recognizes not only and he's conscious now of the hurt, the pain that he has driven, that he has given to the feminine, the hurt that he has caused his feminine, but he is also realizing the wedge that he has driven between the two of them. And what he doesn't want is for that to continue. And so he is feeling more motivated, and he's wanting to have this new start back. He's wanting to renew that passion between them. And so as he's overcoming this, I feel like this worry and this overturned Ace of Wands is really that he was feeling as though he maybe had ruined that relationship, that he's done something to hurt his divine feminine or hurt their relationship. But, all of this positive energy is still present. This hasn't gone anywhere. So it's still not a heavy, and the Three of Swords, it's heartache, it's hurt, but it's not a Ten of Swords. It's not a Nine of Swords. That is all in the past. So, this is totally different from what he had, the mental pain and anguish that he had been experiencing before, and that, we maybe had been experiencing before. So he's really looking to turn all of these things around, and he's feeling that drive, that desire, to do so. And he knows exactly what he needs to do. He's made that decision. So how is he making that decision right now, or how is he taking that action? And right now, in the space of his energies, we're having the Seven of Swords and the King of Pentacles. And what I was getting from this intuitively is that, see, last week this was coming up in his mental space, that he had been, overturned from his throne. He wasn't feeling grounded and secure in his power. He wasn't feeling like himself. Maybe he was just feeling scattered and just kind of a little chaotic or whatever. Maybe his thoughts had, just nothing was making sense. But you know what? Mercury on the 11th moved into Capricorn. We're making better sense of things. And our divine masculine is building a case. That's what I'm getting from this. So he still, maybe for some of us, has not told us what's going on. And he may still be hiding some things, but we talked about this last week as well. He's building a case. He's gathering his evidences. He's figuring out what he needs to say, and he's becoming grounded in those things and secure and confident in what he needs to say, the things he needs to reveal, the case that he has built up to support himself when it comes to having that conversation. Now, two more things here. In the recent past, and that is just over the past 2, 3, 4 days even, we have Justice and the Hierophant. This is the priest. And so for me, intuitively, this was coming out that he's made his decision to confront things. He knows what needs to be said. He knows what he needs to come clean with things. He needs to do things right by his feminine, right by his family, right by himself. He needs to stand in his highest power and do things for his highest good. And what is also motivating him and getting him to this point is this decision to bring these two together, the lovers. So here, and this is also legal contracts. This is marriages. This is whatever other type of, however else you want to solidify your relationship and make things clear that you are unifying in that relationship, unifying your efforts, coming together in some spiritual way, coming together in a legal way. Maybe both of those things. This could be church marriages as well, because I see this as, not just legal marriage in the court system, but also in a religious institution. So any way that you guys decide to come together, this is him standing in this belief, in this knowing that this is what he wants. Okay? Now, why I say that, he may not have brought out yet that he wants to talk about these things. This may be what he wants to talk about. Okay? He may want to talk with his feminine about this. Now that he's very secure in his decision, he's confident in the message that he wants to reveal to her, that he's confronting this, bringing everything to light, then, this is going to come out. Now, something else I'm getting is that from his environment, he has got the Five of Pentacles in reverse and Judgment. And last week, because I was remembering what we talked about last week with the Divine Masculine as well, and last week, he was not feeling supported by close circles of friends and family members, anybody who he may have shared with about your relationship, or shared that, oh, I really like this person. I think that I want to marry her. I think that, what if I want to go this direction with my life? What if I really do want to get married instead of just, being a bachelor my whole life, or instead of not making that kind of commitment? What if I really want to commit now? And, whatever it was that he was revealing and sharing, looking for that support and wasn't getting, well, you know, he is not giving that any weight in his mind. I feel he's kind of fed up with that because he knows where his truth lies. He knows, he recognizes more what his personal truth is, the direction he wants to go. And if there's somebody not supporting him, well, he is not going to allow that to stop him anymore. And so